Recording. Okay, we are recording. So jumping back over to the D2L site. Does anyone have any questions? Because I got 0 emails from all y'all last week when you were supposed to be on and up and running and uploading programs / code listings, as they're called, in 120 in the Java book versus programs in this book. So there's grades already posted for that. Today's video I'll put here. I made a new widget. Here are old ones. Some people like to look at what was going to be covered before we cover it. And here's a place to go, and you can watch it ahead of time if you want. This nav bar, same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Many a days go by. Okay, I did have the announcement last Monday. I have an announcement for every Monday just to put on. Keep you folks checking in on the news. I put stuff on all week. Almost every week there'll be new things. I don't care what IDE you use. For 20 whatever years, I've used Bloodshed. VS Code has now become really popular, and a lot of you use VS Code for Java. That's absolutely fine with me for you to use for C++. This Bloodshed is a little easier to use. It's no longer supported, so some of the new modern functions are not included in there. There's one called ATEOI, ATEOI, that's not. So there's some things that don't work very well on Bloodshed. As long as you're sending me a .cpp file, I don't care which IDE you use. Okay? But if you want to try Bloodshed, stick with VS Code. That's all up to you. Algorithm writing. Stop in the name of love. I don't know where it is. I downloaded it. Let me find it. Share. Sharing is scary. Where is it? Let me go find that real quick.
Surgery was a success, but the patient's dead.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. Uh-huh. And you're shaking your head that you remember that, right? For those of you that this was the thing with deadlines. If it's due at 11:59 p.m., what time is it due? Well, it's due at 12:08 for me because I couldn't upload it right. And no, it's due at 11:59. You have a week to get it done. Couple instances, you're going to have 2 weeks to get it done. Don't wait till the last minute. Read the program before you start working on it as soon as it's available so that it's in your mind and your mind is thinking about it. And we cover something, you go, oh, I can use that on my program. So get them done. Now I can go to here. And one of the big things we do in this course is called algorithm writing. And I gave you this document. It's under the news. And you're going to start to see where there's a couple of ways to write algorithms. And one of the things in this course is to try to get you to start to jot down what you want to do before you start typing. One of the things you're going to see in this course is I'm going to require test data on a Thursday when the program's due on a Sunday. I'm going to require an algorithm on a Thursday when the program is due on a Sunday. It means you're doing some of this back work before you get there. In my 121s, you should have learned that, wait a minute, yeah, creating test data helps me to understand what I'm supposed to code before I just get ready and start typing like crazy. Here are a couple examples of algorithm writing. Now, this is the first one. It's called pseudocode. Well, pseudo means kind of like, but not really. Well, you can see it's starting to look like actual code. Well, we got some stuff going on here, some ifs and else's, but we're now going to start taking advantage of what did you learn in Java and how does it compare in C++? And in the meantime, if I write this algorithm average, it'll work for both. It will work for both languages, the way it's laid out. Okay? So you see a couple of instances of what when I say I want you to write an algorithm, and some of the earlier ones you're going to be going, well, this is kind of easy. I'm just going to do this and this and this. But I'm trying to get you into a habit of I'm bored in another class, so I'm going to start to write down scribble some lines of code down that I might be able to use. So that's pseudocode. We could keep going on and on. Here's a couple examples. I don't do them in class anymore, but they're just, here's the solutions for what you would be doing. All of this, you should be like, oh, he asked me to do this in Java. I can do it in 2 seconds. Now, other types of algorithms that I didn't include on here, I just did pseudocode, include hierarchy charts. We'll talk about that at some point. And like a flow chart. You've seen some work with a flow chart. And we actually have a program where I give you a flow chart and you have to write the code. So that's going to come back. But here's a nice reference for you to get rid. What is that numbers underscore grade? What's that called? Don't say a variable. What's that type of work? Anybody remember what that was? It's called snake case, where you use underscores to separate words. We're also familiar that all of this is case sensitive, and one that we like to use a lot is camel case. Like every word starts with a capital, and it makes it much more easy to read. Okay, so far so good? Yeah, everybody still has an A? No, those who didn't turn in the programs / code listings, they don't have A's. The next thing we want to share. So hopefully you got your first C++ program up and running. And here is an example of what's going on. I got, oh boy, documentation. I got the slashes again. That sounds pretty familiar, right? I have include IO stream. We're going to be including a lot of things.
Are you
These
trying
are,
to share something?
I did. It says stop sharing. I'll
For
try
me,
it
it was
again.
Yeah, we
just,
couldn't see anything.
yeah, it said you were sharing, but it didn't show anything.
Same.
There
Now.
you go.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for speaking up. I need you folks to speak up. As I always say, if I'm going too fast, if you don't slow me down, I don't know to slow down. So that's always out there.
No
All right,
brakes on this train, huh?
that's right. Throw mama from the train. Number 5, line 5, include iOS stream. So by the way, this is me using bloodshed. I use both, but this is, and so if it looks different than your IED or IDE, whatever it is, then don't worry about it. So yeah, this include IO streams called a preprocessor directive. And we're going to be using a lot of those. And it's just like we did back in Java when we had to include a bunch of things. Using namespace STD, we'll talk more about that later. It's not a big deal. It's just creating a workspace for you to be able to work in. There we go. Int main. We're getting started. Again, that int main is actually like a method that we used back in Java. It has a data type, int, and it has a name. It has empty parentheses because we have no parameters coming in. There are no arguments sent to this. It's just generic. So this is actually, and it's no longer called a method. What's it called in C++? Anybody? Anybody?
Function.
Functions. Very good. Is that you, Jack?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, good job, Jack. Okay, we're going to use functions. As soon as I was typing this and I typed line 9, this brace, I went down and typed line 42. Every time I type a left brace, I type a right brace. And I think VS Code automatically does it for you. A lot of languages will do that. We have our primitive data types, int, double, char, and bool. We have our string. What is line 13? What's the difference between the primitives and string?
Strings
String
in a
is in
class.
Java it was called a class. I'm not sure what it's called in C.
Right.
Or
It's
use a
going to be called
reference variable.
right, right, and right. Anybody else have something more? Okay. When I say int num, that says num is going directly to a memory address and reading the 4 bytes. Boom. When I say string, sentence holds the address. It doesn't go right to it. So sentence is an address, and sentence has a whole class of things we can work with it. Everything in that string class. So hopefully chapter 7 in Java made a lot of sense.
Is it still called a class in C?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep. So we declare a bunch of them. We have some examples there. We have couts with 2 left diamond braces, bracket, whatever they're called, 2 less than signs. In Java, we had some plus signs, but we have these instead. ENDL, what's that do?
End line.
End line. It creates a carriage return. Just like we had print line or println, it's going to create carriage return. We have escape sequences. /T/T is tabs. Because when we run this, it goes to the black screen of death, which is so boring that we need to get that fixed so we can get some color and excitement in our programs. But yeah, I'm able to print all these things out. It looks pretty good. Line 31, we still have the same arithmetic operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division, so on and so on, modules. What's the answer to line 33?
Uh,
I
5.
hear a 5. Did you type it in and run it?
No.
Okay, what's 40 times 2? That's an easy one.
80.
80. Integer division 3. Notice I emphasized integer division.
Oh, so it's 26.
So it's 26. Mod 8. What's the
2.
remainder? 8 goes into 26 3 times with the remainder of
2.
2. I hope so. Did anybody run this to find out for sure?
Mhm.
This is a participation sports, folks. Anybody? Bueller?
So yeah, 2.
2. Awesome. Cout is used for output. Cin is used for input. You notice it's the right side of that diamond brace or diamond bracket. So you got a little bit going on here. All this is from chapter 2. It's really, really similar at this point. But are there any questions on what I just gave you? No? It's all good? Okay. So we're feeling good. We're up and running. If I go back to D2L.
I have a question, Professor.
Yep, go.
We are telling about CNC out, but what about another types? For example, printf. Do we need to use printf or?
We're going to get into all that. Printf is used for really formatting data. So that's coming down the road. But we're going to start with just simple basics, getting information. When it comes to reading in strings, we're going to use getLine, and there's other methods. Yep, very
Okay,
good.
thanks. Thank you.
Yep. So what do we have here? This is week 2 already. Code listing 3 was due. I don't know why I put AM. That's kind of silly, but it's due before class. Code listing 4 is next week. Assignment 1 and 2 are available. We got that. Algorithms are uploaded Thursday. We have that. You will have 2 to upload this week. Good. And all of that we talked about. Good. Now, if I do a refresh, there should be a new. Oh, hang on. Stop sharing. Now you're looking dumb. Boom, 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 boom. Give me 1 second. First week, I got that, I got that. January 27th. Oh, that says 1 o'clock p.m. I changed that. Shouldn't say 1 o'clock p.m. Should have said 12:35. Now, let me get back to Zoom. Now, I want you to take a look at D2L, and you should have, share, you should have chapter 3. Here's a program that your group should create. Your group should create. What? Your group. Okay, download it. You notice it's got .cpp as an extension. And what does it look like?
Bunch of instructions.
A bunch of instructions. Can you compile it?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh no,
Good.
never mind. It's an error.
Get you an error.
Yeah.
What you're gonna, oh, let me get back here. I'm gonna share my screen again. So, and it's right here.
No.
No, it's not. There it is. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my version. That's all of the answers. So the whole thing should up and work. So what are you going to do? You see the documentation like line 27. Write code to ask the user for a radius, calculate the volume, format it to 2 decimal places. So I have my answers already done. Yours should be a blank inside of there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're going to be doing in your groups. One, I need you to get to know some people inside of this new class that you have. It's a big class. Put you in groups to work. Want you to get into the habit of doing a block, making sure it runs. Move on to the next block. Somebody, maybe 2 people, should have their books open. 1 person should be doing all the typing. 1 person should be like managing, oh, you have a typo there, da 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 da. But I want you to be in some groups for the next whatever time we have left, 53 minutes. And I want you to learn chapter 3 because I think there's enough similarities, syntax-wise, you could be able to just fly right through this. All right? We have 24 people. That's awesome. By the way, I'm going to